Hello, Last Strawsman here, in the first two episodes of Hawkeye were awesome. If you have not seen these episodes of Hawkeye yet, though, I definitely recommend you do not watch this video because there will be major spoilers for the first two episodes of Hawkeye. So, yeah, spoilers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, loved both of them. I've always loved Hawkeye as a character. I know a lot of people don't, but I just think he's really cool, and I've always loved Hawkeye. But the episode starts out with Kate Bishop, the second Hawkeye, as a little kid. And it starts out with, it says 2012, and then it shows her talking to her parents. And my first thought was, the Battle of New York from the first Avengers movie is gonna start happening. It is gonna be happening while this is going down, isn't it? And I was right, because 2012, New York, everything is just so happy in this scene at first. I was like, Battle of New York. I mean, that was my first thought when 2012 popped up. I was like, yeah, Battle of New York, because Avengers. But something, you see the side of her, there's like a giant hole in the wall. She's looking out of it, and you see the Avengers Tower from the first movie, and some of the letters which said Stark at first are broken off, and I loved all the attention to detail. And you see one of the Chitauri coming, and an arrow hits it, it blows up, and it zooms in, and you see Hawkeye from the first, no, it's like from afar. You see a different angle of the scene from the first Avengers movie where Hawkeye is shooting the Chitauri off the building, and it blows up, he jumps off and shoots the grapple arrow. You see a different angle of it, and I love when they do stuff like that. I love when you see a different angle of iconic shots, like the scene in the first Avengers where they're in the circle, all the Avengers, and then in Endgame you see like an upward view of it. I love stuff like that. I think it's just really cool when they do different angles of other stuff. But then Vera Farmiga, which when she popped up, I was like, is that Vera Farmiga? And yeah, it was. Gotta say, she had a horrible wig on in this scene. You can tell it was wig. Whenever they show her in current times, or not current, because it's 2024, I believe. I believe this show takes place a year after Endgame. So it's not 2023 like everything has been so far. It's like 2024. But yeah, so like 2024, I don't think it was a wig, or if it was, you couldn't tell. But in the beginning, prequel part, you could tell. But yes. So yeah, and then we get to now, or not now, because it's only 2021. So 2024. They're like, yo. No, so Kate is like an adult now, played by Haley Steinfeld. Love Haley Steinfeld. She's in Bumblebee. She's in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. She's in a lot of stuff. And now she's part of the MCU. She's two different Marvel characters. So is Kathryn Hahn, because she was in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and she was in WandaVision. And then I think there was someone else who's in the MCU and Into the Spider-Verse that I can't think of right now. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so first episode is her, and she goes to this auction thing, and the Ronin sword and suit is there, which I thought that was so cool. And oh, you see Hawkeye watching a Rogers the Musical, as they call it, Steve Rogers the Musical, and it was horrible. But Hawkeye is staring at the lady who plays Black Widow, and I thought they were gonna do like a flashback of her death, but they didn't. But you can just tell Hawkeye is like fucked up, which, I mean, yeah, he saw his best friend die right in front of him, and Tony's dead, and they were friends. Steve, Captain America, is dead now, and they were friends. So, like, you know, yeah, it sucks. And Hawkeye, he's deaf in one ear, which he's always been in the comics, I believe. And a lot of people were like, oh, they're doing it like in the comics. And yeah, I was like, oh, they did it, which apparently they showed it in the trailer, which I didn't notice. I saw it for the first time in this episode. I was like, oh, like the comics, yeah. And they explained why. It's because of just how many explosions have gone off right next to him. Like, they show clips from the 3 Avengers movies he's in, because he's not in Infinity War. But they show, like, an or like him breaking through a window in the first one, explosions going off near him, and him getting sideswiped by Quicksilver in Age of Ultron. They show that. Please bring back AA Ron. I need more Aaron Taylor Johnson Quicksilver, please. Please, Marvel. I know you don't watch. Marvel, I know you watch my video. Not really. But Marvel, I know you're not watching this. But please, bring back Quicksilver. The Aaron Taylor Johnson one. And the Evan Peters one. I'm still holding out hope that he's not Ralph Boner. Still holding out hope that was just his Westview name. And that he actually broke through the multiverse. Somehow before the Loki stuff. Really hoping that Evan Peters is still his Quicksilver. And then you could have two Quicksilvers, and Aaron Taylor Johnson and him talk about Kick-Ass. No, I'm just kidding. Because they were both in it. But yeah, where was I about Hawkeye? What the hell was I even talking about? Oh, Hawkeye gets sideswiped by Quicksilver. They show that. And then, like, explosions are going off to him in Endgame. So yeah, and then he goes to the bathroom, and on a urinal, it says Thanos was right. And Hawkeye's looking at it. And I feel like they imply that he's going to start thinking that, but, like, his whole family died in the snap, so I don't know why he'd believe that. I mean, he doesn't yet, but I think I saw, like, a screenshot of him holding a mug that said it. So, I don't know. I mean, he probably doesn't believe it. But so, Kate Bishop puts on the Ronin suit and beats up a bunch of people. And then these people come in. I think they're called the tracksuit crew. No, that's not what they're called. The tracksuit something. And at first, when one walked through, he had like a mask on. And my first thought was, it's the Wrecking Crew. And then more of them came out, and I was like, no, it's not. If you don't know who the Wrecking Crew is, they're like it's a Marvel group of bad guys. There's like 4 or 5 of them. What are their names? One of them's like Thunderball or something like that. There's like 4 or 5 of them. One's got like a pink mask on, one like a ski mask. Like a ski mask. One of the ones that they had on, and then one of them's got like green and yellow on, and one of them looks like the Juggernaut, kinda. And one of them has like blonde hair, I think, with like a white shirt on. I don't know. The Wrecking Crew are really cool, and if they're trying to bring, like, you know, if you want just some easy villains for someone to beat up, I think the Wrecking Crew is a pretty good vet to bring in there. I think, man, bring the Wrecking Crew into the MCU. They're not, like, really, 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 really cool, but I think they're pretty cool. If you want just, like, some side villains that they could fight, put them in there. Maybe they'll be in Spider-Man freshman year, that animated show they're doing that's, like, canon to the MCU. Like, Tom Holland is going to voice Spider-Man and stuff. Does that mean he's going to have his homemade suit for the whole show? Are we going to see Uncle Ben die for the 3rd time, but this time in animated form? Oh, my God. No. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, she gets the Ronin suit, beats up what I thought at first was going to be the Wrecking Crew, but it wasn't. And she's doing it in the Ronin suit, and then she leaves and saves a dog. And then the news is like, oh, this is the first sighting of Ronin in years. And my first thought was years? Wasn't Hawkeye Ronin like last year for you guys in 2023? Unless they didn't see, like, I'm assuming he was Ronin from 2019 to 2023. That's what I'm assuming. Or 2018, because that's when the snap happened. It's 2018 to 2023. But, like, the last time he was Ronin was 2023. So did they just not get footage of him since, like, years before 2023? Because that's the only way it would make sense. So, yeah. But this time it was Kate Bishop in the Ronin outfit, not Clint Barton. So, yeah, they were like, it's the first sighting of Ronin in years. And then Kate goes to this place, and the dude's dead. And I'm telling you, something is up with her mom's fiance. Something's not right about him. Maybe he's a character from the comics that I don't know. I should probably look him up. Or maybe I shouldn't look him up, because maybe if he is someone, it would spoil it. So maybe I'm not going to Google it. No, I'm not going to Google it, just in case he is somebody that's a huge bad guy. So, yeah. But something's up with him. And so Kate is like, so her and Hawkeye meet, and she's like, oh my God, you're Hawkeye. And I love how much recognition Hawkeye gets. I love that there's a lot of people saying that they're his favorite because I love Hawkeye. Love Hawkeye. Although he's kind of a dick in these first 2 episodes. kind of a dick, a little bit to other people, not his family, obviously. Well, like just a little bit, but I think it's just because of an incident. I think the reason is because it's an inconvenience. I think he straight out just says, "You ruined my Christmas," or not ruined my Christmas. Something about he wants to have Christmas with his family, and this shit is happening, so he has to deal with that. Which, I mean, makes sense. It's always something with these all these superheroes. It's always like, oh, this shit again. You know what I mean? I saw a meme, though, and it showed Homer, like, asleep, and it said, other superheroes when something huge is going on, but it's not their movie. It was so funny, because that's so true. That's so true. But I just think it's funny. But yeah, so Kate Bishop and Hawkeye team up. Or no, they're fighting. Okay, so Kate's in a car, and this tracksuit people are, like, trying to beat her up. She holds her own pretty good. Then she gets in a car, and Hawkeye comes and beats him up. And then he goes up to Kate, and he rips the mask off. He's about to punch her, and then he sees that it's Kate, and he's like, oh, where'd you get the suit? And she's like, auction. And he's like, oh, okay. So they hang out a little bit. And then the tracksuit people return again. They throw Molotovs in her apartment. And then they leave. And they go to her aunt's apartment. And Hawkeye's like, alright, I'm gonna go get the Ronin suit. Goes to get it. It's not there. Finds, like, this dude's on, I don't know, he finds a dude on some app. At first I was like, oh, is it TikTok? Of course I thought that. It was fucking TikTok. But it wasn't TikTok. It was something. Because the way it was formatted, it looked like someone's TikTok. And I was like, oh, no, it's not. And then, so he's like, oh, y'all think the guy he finds, he's like, oh, you guys think my costumes are fake? Bam, I'm in the Ronin suit. So, like, was the guy who took the suit a firefighter? I think he was, because it said, yeah. I guess that firefighter found the suit and was like, ooh, I'm taking this. So, yeah. And so he takes the Ronin suit, and then he takes it to, like, this fucking Viking roleplay thing. And Hawkeye's like, can I go get my suit? And the lady's like, no, you gotta do the rules and all this. And I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? It was funny. I liked it. But I was like, what the fuck are they doing with this Viking roleplay shit? What the fuck is this? Like, what? I don't know. I was like, that, But so Hawkeye doesn't want to, but he's like, alright, let's do this shit. Pretends to fight some people. It's funny because he goes, goodness, which would be my reaction to it. I'd be like, what the fuck? But then he's like, pretend fights the guy dressed as Ronin, and he's like, dude, he's like, you're Hawkeye, right? Let me win, it'd be so cool. And he's like, yeah, okay, let's go. And they're pretend fighting, and Hawkeye goes, dude, just hurry up, do it. And he's like, no, we gotta make it look real. So he does it. They fight for a bit, and he does it. And Hawkeye is like, oh, I lose. And then he gives him the suit back. And he's like talking to him. And he goes, you can call me. I think he calls him Hawkeye. And he's like, you can call me Clint. And he's like, I can call you Clint. Which would be everyone's reaction. Just, that'd be like if Spider-Man was like, just call me Peter. Which he wouldn't. Well, I guess he can now because everyone knows. But they'll remove his identity from everyone's brain somehow at the end of No Way Home. I'm going to assume. I would assume. I don't know. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I'm assuming maybe a lawyer. Maybe. Okay. Sorry, we're going to go on a Spider-Man talk a little bit. My thought before all the rumors of No Way Home was maybe a Skrull could, like, go on. They could, like, film a Skrull in the Spider-Man outfit and then, like, make the Skrull see Peter. Or, like, video where, like, Peter is standing somewhere and have a Skrull in his outfit. And look at Peter, and then it morph into him, and then go to, like, Mysterio, like, fake it. I thought they were gonna fake making it look like a Skrull, and be like, oh, it was a Skrull, so Peter's not Spider-Man. That was my thought. But, no, what they're doing is, like, way cooler, because multiverse and stuff. But, yeah, okay, back to Hawkeye. So, yeah, what was I talking about? What part was I at? This is why I shouldn't go on goddamn tangents while I'm talking about shows, because I don't even know what part I was at. Oh, yeah, he gets the suit back, and then he's like, okay, Kate, bye, and he leaves. And then the tracksuit gang, or whatever they're called, they're like, yo, Hawkeye, we're gonna kill you. And he's like, ha, no, you're not. Kate comes in, and then she's like, ha, shit. And then they show a girl, and it's like lit with red, and I was like, Red Room reference? It shows the side, and I thought it was Yelena. I was like, oh, that's Yelena. And then it showed her from the front. I was like, that's not Yelena. Never mind. I don't know why she'd be the leader of these people, so it was pretty dumb of me to think it was Yelena. But the way it was lit and the way that they like viewed her from the back and the side, I was like, that's Yelena. Oh, it's not. My thought. Yeah, so no, it's not Yelena. Yelena is definitely going to be in the show, though, right? Because that Black Widow credit scene, Yelena's going to be... I think Yelena and Hawkeye are going to fight. And then Hawkeye will be like, I didn't kill Black Widow. She was my best friend. And then Yelena's like, oh, okay. You want to go fight Elaine from Seinfeld now? I mean, what's her name? Val? Valentina long name? Val. I just call her Val. But, yeah, alright. So, bam, Hawkeye. Loved it. Loved the first 2 episodes. Episode 3, I'm assuming, is going to be them beating up. I kind of hope these tracksuit people aren't, like, the main bad guys of the show, though. Because that'd be kind of lame, I think. They probably won't be. I'm assuming maybe Yelena. I don't think Yelena would be the main villain of the show. But then, I don't know who could be. There's rumors of Kingpin being in it. Like Vincent D'Onofrio. That's his name, right? Kingpin. Which listen, I haven't even seen the Daredevil show on Netflix. I haven't seen it. But it's on my list. And I've seen a little bit of the first episode. And I plan to watch the whole show. I planned to watch the whole show before Spider-Man No Way Home came out. And now that movie's, like, technically less than a month away. And I haven't watched a single episode yet. So, I need to. But, I haven't. I need to. Especially since Kingpin might be in this show. But, yeah, so... Ooh, that was my review of the first 2 episodes of Hawkeye. Let me know what you guys think of the first 2 episodes of Hawkeye. I'm really excited because I love Hawkeye, man. I love Hawkeye. And Kate Bishop looks like she's going to be a fire new Hawkeye. Something is up with, what's his name, Jack? Something is up with him. I'm telling you. I don't know who he is, and I don't know if I should Google him because he might be a character from the comics. And maybe if I Google who he is, it might spoil it. But... So I'm not going to Google him. But, yeah. Because that would be like not knowing who the Winter Soldier is in Captain America the Winter Soldier. And before you watch the movie, you Google him and you're like, oh, it's Bucky. So then you're not surprised when you watch the movie. Even though I wasn't surprised when I first saw that movie because I knew about it. Because it's comics. I was like, I don't read comics, but I used to. I still just like watch stuff about them and I know a bunch of the characters and stuff. And so when I heard about it, how old was I when Winter Soldier came out? Like 2014. So I was like 8 when that movie came out. So, but yeah, I remember when they were talking about it, I was like, isn't Bucky the Winter Soldier? And then I saw the movie and I was like, oh, Bucky is the Winter Soldier. Yeah. Because, it did surprise me when that movie came out. Because, I wasn't that comic booky as a kid. I just loved the movies. But I kind of had some idea of it. Even though when Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out, I was also 8 when that came out. When that movie came out, I had no idea about Gwen's death at all. Not one clue. So whenever the clock tower shit was going on, I was just like, oh, cool. And then Gwen falls, and I was like, Spider-Man's gonna save her. And then she dies, and I was like, oh. And I cried my damn eyes out when Gwen died, because I was 8. Even though I cried my damn eyes out when Iron Man died. And I was like 13. And the second time I watched that movie, I was 14, and I cried again. And the third time I watched that movie, I've seen that movie a lot. Whenever I watched it, being a 15-year-old, I cried again. I love Iron Man. I cry every time I see him die because I just so love Iron Man. They better not kill Hawkeye in this show. Don't. Marvel. Don't. Don't do it. Please. I beg of you, do not do it. Just please. They probably won't. What I think is gonna happen, I think Hawkeye's gonna retire, and then Kate will be Hawkeye. There was an interview with Haley Steinfeld and Kevin Feige where she was like, she was asked about Young Avengers, and Kevin's face, he was just like, don't say anything. And Kate just looked at her. Haley Steinfeld just looked at him. So we got some Young Avengers. I mean, obviously we got Young Avengers. Kate Bishop's here. The dude from Falcon and Winter Soldier, whose name I can't remember, like the grandkid of Isaiah Bradley. Kid Loki was in Loki. Billy and Tommy, was that his name? WandaVision. Spider-Man counts. Even though Tom Holland, didn't he say like he's ready for Miles to come into the MCU? Dude, you're still a teenager in the movies. I think you got a few more Peter Parker stories to tell, and then you can bring in Miles. But then he also said if he's playing Spider-Man by like 30, he's doing something wrong. I don't know if these quotes are taken out of context, but does Tom not like being Spider-Man anymore or something? Because forever ago, he said he would love to play Spider-Man until he couldn't walk anymore. But now he's like, oh, if I'm playing Spider-Man after 30, I'm doing something wrong. What changed his mind? I need to watch or read these interviews, though, because it might be taken out of context. But does he just not like being Spider-Man anymore? I don't know. I don't know. Tom, please don't leave the MCU. Tom, please. Please. We need Spider-Man, dude. Tom. We need MCU Spider-Man, okay? Stick around for a couple years, and then you can do Miles, okay? Please, Tom. Okay. Alright, hopefully you guys enjoyed my review. I went on a little tangent at the end there. I'm sorry, I didn't do that. My apologies. But hopefully you guys enjoyed my review of the first episode of Hawkeye. Let me know what you guys thought. But yeah, guys, please give this video a like. Please subscribe to help me out, and check out some other videos. Hawkeye.